Hey everybody, conscious of economics, you'll be glad that this is the last video of the day. But I want to talk about contrast. Sometimes people talk about contrast. Well, that it's an important part of your life is the contrast. And there's the extremity of contrast. And it's hard not to live in a polarized polarity reality, or if you want to call it a duality. It's hard not to live in it, with the seesaw going up and down, because the extremity of it, one side to the other, is everywhere. So I just wanted to talk to you guys about, so last night on the way home, it was like, dusk when it's starting to cool off, because it's been hot on the West Coast. I live in the desert. So even Reno's been really, really hot, and for people here, I'm not saying it's like 110 or 116, that some people are dealing with, but for us, it's pretty hot, because we've had these weird thunderstorms that produce sometimes rain. It also leaves humidity, and so we're not, you have the sand or the pavement, and it's mirroring off the sun. I mean, sand is like glass. It's like a mirror, so anything that hits it, it's amplified. And so if you're walking across, you're just getting burned to a crisp. So last night on my way home, I was coming up through the back north part into the North Valleys. They go up to kind of like the California border eventually, which is, border town, and then up into Portola. But heading up that way, because I'm kind of living at the back of one of the North Valleys right now, in my van. So I was coming up the road, and there was, there's not a lot of houses in this area. And I was headed to the gas station there, and somebody had put a trailer, like a pull trailer, like a medium-sized one. It's older, but it's super great shape. You could tell that, somebody owned it, didn't really use it, but kept it in really good shape. And it was locked up, and it had a for sale sign on it. And it's probably like around a $7,000 one, about a $7,000 one. But standing out front of this trailer that's locked up, that's been left there with a for sale sign, is probably the worst case scenario homeless person I have probably ever seen in my entire life. And mind you, I've spent a lot of time, living out of my van and, around homeless. And I mean, I've been pretty much homeless, so. But the worst case scenario, I mean, this guy, all I could see was the back of him staring at the for sale sign in the window of this trailer. He, his shoes were in really bad shape. They had been duct taped kind of back together into a slip-on. No socks. Pants were pretty trashed. I'm not even sure they were men's pants. He was a man. Super dirty. You couldn't tell what color the pants had been. Shirt, t-shirt, and all he had was a comforter blanket. That's it. And he looked like he hadn't had a shower in like a year. His hair was completely gray, matted. Anyway, I was just like driving by there. It was like kind of on the corner, and then across the road was the gas station I was going to. And it just was like this contrast, this polarity, this duality from, one seesaw to the other. And, what I thought was like, here's this home, right? Here's this trailer sitting there locked up that somebody owns, that wants money for it because they don't want that home anymore. They want to give the home to somebody else. They probably need the cash. But that home looks like it's never been used forever, the duration that they've had it, which is kind of more disgusting. You have places for people to live where you could give them a house, pay their first month, take the trailer over to RV place, give that to that person, sign the title over to them, pay the first month's rent. I mean, and help a person get their life together. But here's this trailer, this pull trailer that this homeless person, like worst case scenario homeless person, he was totally sunburnt, dirty, coming out of the bush of the desert because it's like the only safe place. And he's not going to be taken off to like a FEMA camp or, incarcerated or picked up and dumped out, into some other city that he doesn't even know and he's never been. And super skinny, really dehydrated, because even the homeless people downtown don't have a lot of access to fresh water. I mean, this is like a crime. I mean, this is a crime. And it forces the polarity and the duality to be so out of balance that there is no balance in the seesaw. So then they get rid of the homeless, right? Make it look like, oh, there aren't so many homeless. There's not so much poverty. Boom. And then the homeless population explodes again. And you've got this light, dark seesaw just with that community. So how do you get out of a duality or a polarity and the extremities of both sides? You can't. So anyway, so I'm watching him stand outside of the trailer and I'm just thinking to myself, like, here's this home that's locked up, that somebody's left, that they've never used. And, for whatever reason, I wonder if they could see this person, like if there was this camera on the trailer and they were watching it security wise, if they saw this person looking closely at the for sale sign, thinking, wow, that would just be such a good place for me to live. I wish I had that. I wish that I had a place like this to live, And I wondered, like, what would go through the homeless guy's mind. I mean, would he think, maybe I could get my life together if I had a place like this to live? If I had just a little help. So it was just like this crazy moment. And I had to slow down on this road because the whole scene just struck me. I mean, just like, knocks me down, the contrast between those who have something and those who have nothing. And just how this homeless guy was close up to the trailer looking at the for sale sign. Just like the whole experience of just watching it was like, this is the baseline of what is wrong with America. There are homes, but not homes for you. There are vacant places to live. There are tons of trailers. I'm sure there's so many like trailers and mobile home or, pull trailers and RVs that have been foreclosed on and confiscated that are in major compounds. Those are houses, right? Why don't we start a government program or a state program where, like the GSR, maybe we could work in collaboration, or maybe, the states or cities could pave over an area and allow the confiscation of some of these, RVs and trailers and whatever else, or people could donate them if they're in good shape to the homeless. And then the homeless could have places to live. And then you could put up a little public shower and a little public area to cook food, right? And then you have like a little compound with a fence around it for the homeless. And you make a deal with them. Look, we're going to, get you a place to shower. We're going to get you some haircuts. We're going to have people donate clothing so you can change your clothing and get some more clothing. And we're going to have these little trailers for you to live in, so that you can get on your feet. And, it's right on the bus line. So we're going to get you a job. We're going to try to get you your ID. And that way you have a place to sleep every night. If you don't have the same place to sleep every night and you're not comfortable, you'll be so out of your mind that you're not going to be able to get yourself together. So anyway, as the story continues, so he ends up, I go inside to get gas, I come out to pump it, and he ends up rambling over to the gas station, with his blanket. That's it. And he's like looking at the garbage can, but he knows that, he has to like not make a public scene. And he's looking out the front of the gas station, looking in the window to see, if it's safe enough for him to go in, if who's working, kind of things like, can I go in there? Will they give me anything? And he was a humble homeless guy. He wasn't asking people for money. He was coming around the back kind of more in a humble way, not asking for anything, not trying to get attention. And I was like, I had my last, and here I am, I need donations to get on the road to do this trip. But he's one of the reasons why I'm doing what I'm doing. Food sovereignty, seed sovereignty, large scale land restoration. This is for all of us, especially the people who the system doesn't work for, in order to restore them, or try to restore them. And, I worry about some of these people being too far gone. But I also think, like, what would happen if you gave them good, garden fresh food that had heavy nutrient every day? They had a shower, they had clean clothes, even if they're used clothes. They had a constant place to sleep that was safe from trauma and drama and abuse. What could they become? What would they look like after? You know what I mean? What kind of, since they have been on the down and out, what kind of citizens and people that would be motivated to change things after a period of time? So anyway, I hear Spirit say, give him some money. He's starving. He needs bottled water, no access to fresh water. Look, he's got a blanket. And I have more. I mean, I'm living in my van, but I have more. So I looked in my wallet. I had $20 and I'm like, okay, I'm going on a wing and a prayer. And that's after I got gas. So I folded it up and I started walking towards the garbage area where he was at. He was putting his stuff down. And I had it folded up and I started coming towards him and he started backing away. He got kind of scared. And I waved at him and I was like, no, I'm okay. We're okay. And then I got up to him and I handed him the $20. And he looked down at it and he looked up at me and looked me right in the eye and said, thank you. And when he looked up, I saw that he was a star child. He probably came in the first wave. I could totally tell by his eyes and the color of his eyes. And I just thought, wow, what could have taken place? What could this being have done on this planet if this planet hadn't done him in? What kind of amazing thing would he have carried out on this planet? But they have to the powers that be just have to beat you to death and into submission. Anyway, he was excited and he dusted himself off and pulled his pants up and he kind of slowly walked over, looked in the doors to go into the store. But nobody could have said anything to him because he had money. And so he could get what he needs. And so I felt good about that. I felt good about helping another star child, to have faith, even though there's not a lot of faith to have in this world. And the polarity is so extreme, depending on which end you're on. Anyway, I just wanted to convey that story. We need to help each other. I was at the food bank the other day, and it's a Black food bank. And they are the kindest people and always so good to everybody. And one of the ladies said, we just got to get our, SHIT together. And we all need to be working together as a cultures. and teaching each other and showing each other and working with each other. And I said, you know what? Amen. Because, that's exactly what we need to do. And we need to start with those who have fallen down and fallen behind. Sorry, I'm going to get emotional. And we have to pick them up. All right. Talk to you later. Bye. Thanks for listening.